Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. It's so good of you to join me here today. So today I was, just doing my usual thing, reading news sources, articles, gathering data, because that's what I do, because I'm a giant, massive nerd about all things interesting, I guess, to me, right? One of those things of particular interest is energy policy and economics. So I came across this article, Geothermal Energy, Big Tech's Answer to Growing AI Energy Consumption. Now, I'll spoil the article right away. The author here claims that not so much, because geothermal historically has never had a lot of input, meaning that there's not been a lot of investments in geothermal. The success stories with geothermal have been limited, and as a renewable source, it's just not widely implemented. There's only very few countries or very few situations where it can apply because the locations for geothermal are limited, and the economy of scale is also limited. So geothermal is not very feasible. But what this article does is give us several insights into AI and what AI really requires. Now, one of the things that's interesting about AI and artificial intelligence is its insatiable energy consumption. Because AI, unlike other sources, does something very interesting. So this is the one stat that I want to show you here today. A study published earlier this year by scientists at Cornell University found that generative AI systems like ChatGPT use up to 33 times more energy than standard computers running task-specific software. And every AI-powered internet query, e.g. Google search, consumes about 10 times more energy than a traditional query. And also, as a result of the amount of energy needed to sustain AI's growth sector is doubling at about every 100 days. So the energy inputs are doubling every 100 days. In basic economic terms, is that AI is growing at a massive, massive rate, and it's consuming a lot of energy as a result. And one of the critical things about AI, and one of the things that we got to consider, is that as long as the value of the output of the AI, which it's not really AI in the way that we understand it from movies and science fiction. It's like more like a really advanced, complicated algorithm that could piece data sets together and create very comprehensible results to the average individual. So they can bridge gaps in industries and help people become more effective and better at their job because it can search wide databases and give you answers much quicker. So a lot of AI will potentially, reduce the demand for some jobs, but increase demand in others. And that's what I want to get to today. Is AI going to create a second US oil boom? Now, as you all know, anytime the United States develops a new industry, a new sector, or has a huge growth in any sort of kind of industrial demand or computer demand and so on and so forth, there is a huge growth in energy production and energy demand. And when there's a growth in energy demand, guess what? States like Texas and states like Pennsylvania become very happy because those are energy producing states, particularly around oil and natural gas. And the short answer is, well, there is a strong potential. I will say most likely there will be another boom at least during the Trump administration, for oil demand, because AI, which is, again, things like ChatGPT are an American-based technology, will require a lot of data centers within the United States to power these machines and these AI servers to run these types of calculations and algorithms. And what it says here, by 2030, you will have a 3.5% of the global supply will be global energy demand will be just based on AI. So AI will consume 3.5% of global energy consumption to run this. And as I said, if the economics of this, at least I'm hoping this is true, partially because there's such a huge investment, is that as long as the output of the AI that is being used in the industry is greater than the value of the energy put in, then this technology is going to keep growing, keep getting better and more efficient, and the data centers will keep growing with it. And like the article said, the geothermal outlook, like, just forget about it. But natural gas is something to watch out for, and the oil and the natural gas, because guess what? No matter what we think, no matter how we like it, no matter how we don't like it, fossil fuels are still years away from their peak usages. At least I believe peak oil demand is slated to be around 2030, maybe 2035, somewhere in there. So we still got another 5 years before we reach peak oil. And natural gas is the next closest alternative because natural gas shares a lot of the same infrastructure as oil does. Again, I'm not a petroleum engineer, but I have known a lot of petroleum engineers and I kind of studied some of this stuff to a degree to be, how to say, dangerous with it. That a lot of the same infrastructure is put in place for oil as it is for natural gas, so that there's some parallel industry and there's some industrial overlap. And a lot of the energy companies like Chevron and Exxon have a large portfolio of natural gas, which means that guess what? Natural gas is going to be one of the uses of energy and one of the demands going forward because natural gas, no matter what you think of it, being a fossil fuel is still better for certain operations and energy growth than some of the less proven technologies or some of the harder to build technologies like nuclear and some of the less dependable technologies like wind and solar. So it's going to be interesting to see because, again, I think AI is going to, unfortunately, cut away the need for some jobs in some sectors, but also boost the demand for energy and energy production growth type of jobs in other sectors. So, for those of you out there that are especially working out in the oil fields, I think your days are numbered. Think again, because as AI keeps growing, the demand for the energy is going to keep growing. And right now, the closest alternative we have to oil is natural gas, which might become another industry of massive, massive demand and massive, massive growth going forward towards the future. So anyway, that is just my take. Some of the interesting statistics in this article can be found in the link down below. So I'll post the article for anybody else to read because, again, I think this data is very interesting. And what it is also very revealing because AI, in addition to being something that's going to be widely used across multiple office environments and multiple industries such as engineering, software development, medicine, so on and so forth, research, it's also going to be one of those things that are going to drive an energy boom, at least in the way that if the statistics are borne out, that will be the case, especially with the doubling of AI energy demand every couple of days, every 100 days, which is absolutely wild. And again, it's an immense energy consumption requirement. So anyway, I hope you found this data and information interesting. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate your time. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, and I'll talk to you later. Thanks. Bye.